We were always told to be careful of wild animals when hiking, but no one ever tells you what to do when someone is standing outside your tent at night, just breathing. This happened to us at the end of the season in the mountains. There were almost no hikers left on the trail. The silence up there isn't peaceful. It's empty. There were two of us, me and my friend. The first day was normal, cold but expected. The strange part started the next morning. I stepped out of the tent and saw footprints. Fresh ones, still damp. They came from the forest, straight to our camp. I woke my friend. We told ourselves someone must have passed by at night. Another hiker, maybe a hunter. But there was one detail we couldn't ignore. The footprints stopped right in front of our tent, stayed there, then went back into the trees, like someone had stood there watching us. We tried not to think about it, packed up and kept moving. About an hour later, my friend said, "Hey, do you hear that?" I stopped. Somewhere behind us, a branch snapped. We stood there in silence. A minute, maybe two, nothing else. We kept walking. But after that, it felt like someone was following us. Not close, just staying behind. Sometimes we heard a twig snap, sometimes a rock shift, sometimes nothing. Just the feeling. By evening, we found a place near the rocks to camp. I checked the ground carefully. No footprints. We made a small fire and went to sleep early. That night, I woke up suddenly, no idea why, just opened my eyes and realized I could hear breathing. At first, I thought it was my friend, but it was coming from outside. Heavy, slow, like someone standing right next to the tent. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The sound was so close. Then I heard a step. One, then another. Someone was walking around the tent. I wanted to wake my friend, but I couldn't make a sound. The steps stopped at the entrance. I swear, the zipper moved slightly, like someone ran their fingers across it. I don't know how long it lasted. A minute? Maybe an hour. Eventually, the steps moved away. Slowly, very slowly. In the morning, we both looked pale. My friend said he woke up too. He heard the breathing. We packed without talking. When I lifted the tent, the grass underneath was flattened, like someone had been standing there a long time. We left the trail faster than we planned. When we finally reached the parking area, I opened the map for the first time and noticed something strange. From our second campsite all the way down, there was another trail running beside ours, parallel. At first, I thought it was just an old path, but it started exactly where our tent had been and followed our route almost the entire way down, like someone had been walking with us. We don't hike alone anymore. We thought it was just the wind, but the whistling was following us every step we took. This happened during a night in the deep forest where we went with friends. We were three, me, my brother, and our friend. The plan was simple: hike along an old trail deep into the woods and set up camp near a lake. The night promised to be quiet, but at dawn, something felt wrong. We had taken down our tent and were about to head to the lake when we heard it. A whistling sound. Thin, long, not like the wind, not like any bird call, as if someone was slowly exhaling just behind us. We turned around. No one. The forest looked empty. We even laughed nervously. Probably just a squirrel. But the whistling came again, and this time, closer.
We kept moving, but the sound stayed behind us. It didn't move fast, it just followed, exactly the way we walked. At first, we tried to ignore it, but when it started sounding almost human, almost like breathing, a chill ran down my spine. A few kilometers later, we finally reached a clearing and decided to rest. My brother checked the GPS. We were supposed to reconnect with the trail in a few minutes. We sat under a tree, closed our eyes for a moment, and then the whistling sounded right next to us. I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't behind us. It was to the right, as if someone was standing among the trees. My friend whispered, "Maybe it's waiting for us to leave."
We decided to move forward, hoping to find the path. I opened the GPS. The screen flickered, but instead of a route, nothing. No direction, no arrow, just white dots on black. We tried calling the GPS for the trail. No signal. Silence. Darkness. I could feel my heart pounding so loudly I was sure my brother could hear it too. "What do we do?" whispered our friend. No one answered. We just went forward blindly. The sounds seemed to follow us. Not up close, but steadily. No shadows matched our steps, just the rhythm of our feet and the heavy breathing in the air. When the forest started to lighten slightly, we thought we finally reached the clearing. But on the ground in front of us, there were footprints. Not human, too large, long and narrow. They led deeper into the woods, straight from where our trail had disappeared. We froze. One of us whispered, "We're not alone here." And then the whistling came again, closer than ever before, as if it was right behind us. We ran, not knowing where, just forward. The forest felt endless, the trails fragile, and the whistling sound followed each step. Only when lights appeared in the distance from a campsite did we stop. Silently. No sound, no breathing, just silence. We didn't look back. Then our friend whispered, "Did you hear that? It sounded human, but also not human." I don't know what it was, but sometimes when I fall asleep, I still hear the whistling in my head, and it doesn't sound like the wind. We couldn't see anything. No one. But someone was there, and they were calling us by name. This happened during a night deep in the forest with friends. We were three, me, my sister, and our friend. The plan was simple: hike from the lake to an abandoned shelter in the mountains and return by dawn. The day had been warm for autumn. Leaves rustled softly underfoot. The forest around promised calm. But when we reached our campsite in the evening, something felt off. There were none of the usual sounds. No birds, no wind, nothing. We set up our tents, laid out our sleeping bags, and sat by the fire. Hours passed, and the conversation faded. Darkness slowly enveloped the forest. I was sure the last sound I'd hear before sleep would be the crackle of the fire. But then I heard a quiet voice. At first it sounded like a phone ringing. Then I realized the voice was right there, close by. "Where are you?" I heard a distant whisper. I looked around. My sister and our friend were asleep. Only I was awake. I thought I must be imagining it, but the voice came again. "Help me." It was quiet, barely audible, but so close. I listened. Here, on the right side. Help me. I slowly stepped out of my sleeping bag. The fire cast long shadows. Around me, only trees. No movement. I glanced at my sister. She was sound asleep. Our friend, too. And the voice kept whispering, "Help me. Here." My heart was pounding so loudly I could feel it in my ears. I stepped closer to the darkness, trying to find the source. My flashlight barely pierced the black. Then the voice disappeared. At that moment, I heard fast footsteps among the trees. First one, then several. I turned back to the fire, only to see our sleeping friends. No one else. I didn't know what to do. "Wake up!" I whispered to my sister, shaking her gently. She slowly opened her eyes. Our friend awoke too. I told them everything I'd heard. They looked at me as if I'd gone mad. Then our friend stood up and looked into the forest and turned pale. "Someone's there," he whispered. I looked. A figure stood among the trees, barely visible. Just a shadow. No eyes, no features, just a presence. Watching. We froze. The figure didn't move. Then it slowly vanished into the trees. We stayed silent. The forest seemed calm, but every step we took sounded unnaturally loud. We set up our tents closer together. The night felt longer. Our hearts beat faster with every minute. I don't know how long it passed. Then we heard a soft cry. "Help me." It was the same voice, closer than ever before. It felt like someone was standing right behind us, and we couldn't see them. We ran. The footsteps followed, fast, relentless. We didn't look back. We didn't know where we were going, only forward. Finally, we saw the lights of a distant road. We stopped, silent. The lights were bright. No cars, no people, no one. Only the voice, fading slowly. "Help me." And then, it was gone. We couldn't see anyone, but the notes knew our names, and they whispered, "Don't stop." This happened on a dark forest trail far from any road, with just us three. My friend and I decided to hike a little-known forest trail. They said it led to an old hunting shelter on the edge of the reserve. The day was clear, the air crisp. We walked, joked, laughed. But as the sun began to set, everything changed. We noticed the first note immediately. It was pinned to a tree with a small string. Handwritten words on it. "Don't stop." We laughed. Probably just a tourist prank. But after a few hundred meters, we saw another. And then another. Every note was in a different place, but all said the same thing. "Don't stop." We started taking photos to document them. As it became almost dark, the notes appeared more frequently, every few steps. We decided to set up camp, but the next note was already right by our tent. It read, "Those who stop get lost." Fear crept in. We sat by the fire. Darkness fell faster than usual. Then we heard the first rustle in the bushes. Our eyes immediately turned toward the sound. Night, darkness, and no one. But the sound repeated. This time, closer. We quietly stood. I stepped to the edge of the firelight. And then I heard it. "Don't stop."
I don't know what was scarier, convincing myself it was just the wind, or feeling that someone was really there. My friend took a step toward me, but suddenly something rustled behind him. We turned instantly. No one. And then we saw it. Another note lying on the ground. Its message: "We are watching you." We grabbed our backpacks, trying to retreat to the tent. The door clinked as I tried to zip it closed. And then, another whisper. So close I felt the cold brush against my neck. "Don't stop." We ran out of the tent into the darkness. The gray shadows of the trees felt like figures from another world. We ran forward, not knowing where. Minutes later, we spotted a faint light, maybe a distant cabin or ranger's hut. We ran toward it. There, an old man sat on the porch of a small wooden cabin. We ran up and asked, "What is this? Who left the notes? Was this you?" He slowly lifted his head, looked at us, and said in one calm voice, "Those who walk this trail must not stop. If they stop, they become part of the forest." We didn't understand. He led us inside the cabin, and on the walls all around, photographs of people. Those who had once walked this trail, smiling, with maps, with backpacks. But all of them had empty, frozen eyes, as if they couldn't see the light. I looked at the last photo and realized something terrifying. It was us, all three of us, with identical backpacks, the same expressions, but not alive, just cold shadows on the wall. We slowly stepped away from the photographs, and we heard the old man whisper one last time, "Don't stop." It was the last time we ever heard that voice, and we never walked that trail again.